Hello and welcome to What If? I'm Hank,
And I'm John.
and together we are What If Zombies? No, we're TPE Network Zombies. So
Yeah.
we're here to talk about episode 5 of this interesting show. I'll use the term interesting.
Hey man, they're I mean, we already know this world exists. I mean, this is a comic book world. So I mean, it's kind of hard to try and condense everything because in the comic book version of this, people still have a lot more of their smarts to them. And I mean, clearly you see that here because like Strange can do his stuff. But they actually are like able to think out plans. If I'm not mistaken, like the Deadpool head zombie thing is like he takes it around with them at one point in time and was having conversations with them. So if he can have conversations with a head, then there's got to be a little bit more intelligence to the Marvel zombie world versus this What If series. But I digress.
All right. Well, shall we get right into it?
Yes, please.
Hulk lands in the sanatorium to warn people, but it's empty. And then that's when the Dark Order shows up and he can't change, of course. Then Tony shows up and starts eating them. Oh, man. Tony, Strange, and Wong are zombies. I was like, what the freaking heck, man? That was such a creepy start. What did you think?
Oh, I like the fact that they opened up like the portal right behind his head and then shot him in the head. I'm like, wow, that was why didn't anyone think about that during the actual like movie? Because that would have been a pretty
Right?
good like start off right there, or do like Omni beam into that and then have it here like behind him or something like that instead of all the other stuff that they were doing. But you know, as soon as we led into that, I was like, I mean, I already knew what we're getting into. I guess my thing was that, like watching Wong and oh my gosh, his name just jumped out of my head. Oh, it's Doctor Strange. Oh my gosh, I can't believe that.
Goodness. Okay.
Yeah, seriously. Like Wu and Doctor Strange, like sitting there and being able to use all their magic like normal, which I just feel. I mean, that's just showing that they are able to rely on their old instincts, but I don't know. It's still at the same time kind of strange. Doctor Strange. There,
I didn't like it. I personally didn't like it at all. I just thought it was weird, but we'll get into it a little further. I like when Spider-Man shows up and he's swinging Banner away, because Banner's thinking he's getting taken by a zombie or whatever. That was fun.
Yeah, and then the entire thing, I'm like, wow, okay, so there's zombies and now spiders because it does. When does doesn't Hope help interrupt that?
Yes.
Yeah, so like we go from an like wasp to an ant. Yeah, and then oh yeah, that's right. And then the giant ants. You imagine you just landed on the planet. You see some cosmic beings show up. Now zombies. Now ants. Now you're being carried away by a Spider-Man. I mean, what a morning.
Your friends have been turned to zombies. That would be a mind melt.
Yeah.
2 weeks earlier, Janet had a virus inside the quantum realm, and she infects Hank, who infects Ant-Man. And Hope gets away. Did you feel like Hope left Lang to be gobble food, kind of, in a sense? Like
no, I think that she is more reactive than he is. Like her first response is to shrink because that's what she's been doing now, and for a long time. And I don't think that's Lang's first instinct.
No, it wasn't because he's expecting the family to come out and
Yeah.
meet him. He's nervous for, you can tell how he did a great job, Paul Rudd, acting out like, I'm nervous. I'm going to meet them. How are you guys doing? And he gets bit for his trouble. That was messed up.
What about like at the end with Paul Rudd's acting with his dad jokes?
Well, I'll get to it. The Avengers show up and a mini zombie bites Captain America and the Avengers are infected. They have made the Avengers like the weakest group of all time in this What If series.
Well, no, what they're doing is they're showing their shortfalls of where you can actually get them.
And how
And
come nobody's done it in the movies?
that's the thing is that it just hasn't happened because all the cards in their favor. Remember, per the one who's always been whatever the guy at the end of all time, he was setting it up to make sure that universe stayed on that path.
Interesting.
So
Yeah, I
that would
forgot
have,
about that.
but hold on. But let me ask this: have you noticed that the last couple episodes are focusing that now Hope and Ant-Man, or sorry, I guess Hank and Hope have both been in the last 2 episodes, and they're like key characters.
That is true.
Interesting.
And goes back to the comics that I used to read for Avengers, the old Avengers comics, where Ant-Man and the Wasp were key characters. Spider-Man and Happy Hogan create this video. Oh my gosh, that was so good. How to survive in a zombie apocalypse, man. That video was outstanding when they used Bucky and Okoye and Sharon Carter. I thought they did a funny job with that.
I like it. Grr, grr.
Here they come. They're going to get us. I was like, what? This kid is great.
Yeah.
Now they got a transmission that there's a cure at a SHIELD base camp, Lehigh, New Jersey. One of our community members said he was hopeful that we would get an Agents of SHIELD reference of some sort, and we still didn't.
Well, I have a couple like different little things that are going on with this, because this is the same base that didn't SHIELD just blow up one of the bunkers. Because
I think you're right.
That's that's their first SHIELD location, like actual official SHIELD base. And Zola, who was in one of those bunkers, had that missile strike happen. So that technically still happened.
Interesting.
Because I mean, that's it. Everything should be as we know it up to the point of where it spurred off, which would be Janet being infected.
Okay. Now I love that where it looks like there's a giant zombie, but they were just little and they get big and kill it. That was awesome.
Oh,
really,
man.
really funny.
It's horrible, but the splatter and gore in this is just great.
Now we get a sick burn from all of us from Wakanda. That was pretty funny.
Listen, and I'm happy that they brought him back. And I forget what the actor's name. I actually don't even really remember what the character's name is, because whenever watching Ant-Man, I'm really invested in Ant-Man and the Wasp, not necessarily all the minions. But yeah, I mean, I'm so happy that they brought him back to do that. And like when he's like walking around like Baba Yaga, I'm like, oh, this is
he is
playing this up.
He was on 11.
Yeah.
Banner can't turn into the Hulk, so they kind of kept with that trope going.
Mm-hmm.
And then Happy gets harpooned, and then Sharon gets shot by a zombie Hawkeye. I was not a fan of them, even though I know it is comic lore, of them being able to retain some of their skill stuff. I thought that was just contrary to everything we know about science fiction zombies.
Well, but that's the thing, is he didn't have all of it, because he wouldn't have missed.
No, he wouldn't have missed. But
yeah,
still, to be able to formulate that you can, have you ever pulled a bow?
Yeah.
My bow was like 65 pounds or more.
Yeah,
and
mine was 55.
And you would take some good force out of a rotten arm. Like a rotten shoulder and arm. I just thought it was so silly.
Okay, well then, you know what? Bring this back up whenever we get the Cap.
Yes. Okay. Yes. Zombie Falcon takes Okoye for a ride while Sharon ends Happy. Oh, were you sad to see Happy get?
Yeah, but I'm now that when I paused at the end, because I want to make sure that all the voice actors are who I thought they were, and I like the fact that all the voice acting, so everyone did their zombie versions of themselves. So I'm just trying to think of Favreau being like, bam. And that was the other thing too, is like whenever he was doing the bam, they're like, are you really doing that? And then
he was great.
And he's still doing it as a zombie.
He was great, man. They were like, why are you doing the sound effect? He was like, what? Then Okoye ends Falcon.
Ooh,
and Bucky says, I should be sad, but I'm not. Dude, that was awesome.
Oh, she came down on him hard. I was really surprised when he went No holds barred. This, you know what? This is Game of Thrones book. All of a sudden,
Yeah.
we don't. It doesn't matter if you're a main character. You're gonna die in some crazy way.
You are going down. That was great. Then Spider-Man has some webbing ready to thrust the train, and Doctor Strange's cape to the rescue. That cloak is awesome all by itself. It don't need Doctor Strange in it.
No. I mean, it did. It's a lot of the same stuff it did in the Doctor Strange movie.
Yes. Wrapping around and getting in the way and causing trouble. I like that. That was just fun.
I like when he comes back, because when they're like, that's a good look for you when he's wearing it. But we know that from Spider-Man in the Spider-Verse, they had a big thing being like, no capes.
I liked it. Now, Zombie Cap eats Sharon as Bucky confronts him. I was like, no. And he throws his shield at Bucky, and then Bucky cuts him in half and says, sorry, pal. I guess this is the end of the line. I was like, man, Bucky's just a cold-hearted piece of work.
Well, and this is where your rotted arm thing comes into play, because his shield arm was missing half of its muscles. So I'm like sitting there thinking, I'm like, okay, I can see them shuffling around, maybe trying to lift an arm. And yes, he's still enhanced because of super serum. But if he's missing the vital, bits to be able to even move his arm, how would he be able to get it up to sling it like he did? And that was what I was like, I don't know if I get that, but I'd have to, whatever. It's a comic book. They're doing whatever they want to do. But
they didn't hire somebody with knowledge of kinesiology. they didn't have anybody on staff.
Well, I mean, it's not like we're watching The Walking Dead. I mean, again, it's a cartoon. So, but yeah, whenever he did the entire reverse and threw it right back at him from the Winter Soldier, and then he just falls apart. That was great. I mean, but unfortunately, he's not dead because you got to chop off the head.
Yeah,
sorry, you got to destroy the head.
Destroy the head.
Yep.
He could still be rolling around. He could still be crawling around somewhere. Then Hope inside outs Sharon. That was so disgusting. That was Mortal Kombat.
Actually, that was the everyone's call out to, what if Ant-Man crawled up Thanos' butt?
Oh, not that again. Oh, no.
And you know what? Everyone was like, you could have just expanded and blew him up. And this, I have a feeling, was Marvel tossing out a cookie to everyone and being like, there you go. You want to see what it looked like? We just did it.
I didn't even think about how she got in there. Oh, gosh.
Well, no. She got in there through the mouth. So,
did she? Okay.
Yeah. Because what happened was she opened up the door to come to the rescue, and Sharon just turned around and basically opened her mouth to bite her, and she again, like I said, her first reaction is to shrink. So when she went to bite her, she went into her mouth. So she just went. I guess she just went down the tube, and then. But that's great. She's just like, oh, I think I got Sharon all over me. And
she did too. She had that cut on her arm, and Sharon guts inside. I was like, ew.
And then they're like, it was like Spider-Man has some like a hand sanitizer. and who it came from? Okay, I cannot remember her name. Who is the Wakandan guard leader?
Okoye.
So she's not one to drop funny lines. I mean, her character is pretty straight laced. So for her to be like, yeah, he's got some hand sanitizer. I was just like, I'm like,
not bad.
We see where this has gone.
Spider-Man is still upbeat, even though his losses are piling up. So the train is out of steam, and they have a long way to go. So Hope is like, since I'm done for, I'm gonna go giant size, get you guys across. And then she's like, smile for me, Peter. I was like, that is weird.
Well, I mean, it's just that one.
I just thought it was weird.
I mean, it's the line that he dropped that, like, how could you keep smiling? And he's like, well, I mean, it just kind of keeps everyone upbeat. So she's just reminding him to do that. Yeah. But this is where I don't know why someone didn't say, hey, when you're done, shrink back down. Oh my God, I got zombies all over me. Okay, shrink yourself down to even smaller, and then they're not all over you.
Right. You'd be a little speck in the ground. They wouldn't even they'd step on you. They wouldn't find you, though.
All right, so okay, I saw a funny picture today, which I got to throw out there because they had all these zombies crawling up her butt, so I guess they were eating her.
Oh, gross.
I didn't come up with that. I saw that. I was like, hey, they're eating her butt.
Gross. That is nasty. All righty. That Spider-Man jump scare got me. And then the Vision jump scare got me even worse. I was like, whoa, dude, don't do that to me. It's supposed to be like a cartoon kind of animated.
I like the detail in Vision, by the way. They did a good job of and like when he turned around, like later on, you look at his cape. I'm like, wow. I'm like, you can see the how it stands out like it's supposed to.
And almost everybody does a fantastic job with the voice acting, but his voice acting makes you feel, I think because he's so used to dressing up as other characters, he really makes you feel everything he's saying.
Well, I mean, I will point out that, for 2 movies, 2.5, no, 3 movies. Sorry. For 3 movies, he did just play a voice.
Yep.
So, I mean,
he's brilliant.
This shouldn't be that different to him.
No, not at all. And then he's able to keep the zombies away with the mind stone. I guess if they're mindless, they they have to obey.
That's one of those things that that's not explained. It's just basically stating that, because of the Mind Stone, for whatever reason, it's holding them at bay. Like they don't, and then later on, and I know I'm skipping ahead, but when it's removed, I don't understand why all of a sudden it just stops like that, because that means that the Vision was actually doing something where he is saying that it wasn't, it's the stone itself, not him. So I didn't understand that part.
Right. Now we're introduced to Scott Langhead. This is where Chris from our community wanted it to be Coulson, the Coulson head.
I'd be behind that.
I was like, I'm good with that. That's 2 weeks in a row he's had some good stuff. So I was like, yeah, I'm with it.
But these dad jokes, I mean, it was like, and he's like, oh, when I'm nervous, I do dad jokes, and he just wasn't stopping. You're like, oh my God, guys, come on, man.
And then they think they can broadcast the signal worldwide. And when Bucky's like, I'm going to go look around and Vision interjects, I was like, oh no, please don't let this be like The Walking Dead. And it sure was, man. It sure was. Because we find T'Challa, who's been like parted out a little bit out there, and then we see zombie Scarlet Witch. So Vision has lured people there to feed her. She's a man eater.
And she is the creepiest zombie out of all of them.
Yes, she is.
Certainly. she just looks like a monster. She doesn't look like she's a zombie. She just downright a monster.
She uses her powers to catch Okoye. Oh, I was so sad. I was like, no.
Okay. Editor issue with this.
Okay.
So Vision blows the hole out so they can escape, right? Then they all climb out. She gets captured and pulled back in. Then we do a pan shot where we're looking at the bunker entrance, and then Vision does the cut. There's no hole. And you can't say it's around because as they come out, they turn around to look at her as she's being pulled back in, which means that they're coming out wherever they're standing, that hole should be within feet of them.
That's a fail.
And there's no hole. And I'm like, and I had to go back and check that, and I paused it, and I'm like scouring, and I'm like, yep, nope, that is it. And the other thing is, remember, these were the bunker is. So if we go back to Civil War, these bunkers are next to each other. And even so, if they blew one of them up that Zola was in, then we should see some sort of damage because it's not that far away. They're all like in a line. Actually, now that I think about it, we see that in what was it? Endgame.
Okay. Well, Vision pulls the Mind Stone out of his head, and then Bucky gets tossed by Wanda's powers. She bites Banner, but it's a green Hulk arm, and now apparently he, if you don't use one of those little things on his heart, he's fine. And she gets tossed, and then Banner's gonna go fight the zombies. Did that make any sense to you? Why he was gonna stay behind?
It did, because as soon as he realized that they couldn't get through his skin, or he wasn't going to get bit, then he realized that he had the ability to stop them. But in that case, he had to basically make peace with Hulk, and I'm glad that the little conversation helped work that out, because in Infinity War and Endgame, you didn't really see him because he got like really super downplayed by Thanos, and then you're still dealing with Thanos and trying to solve the problem. Where in this case, there is no one left, and it's all these people which he knows he can beat. And if anything, this might have been Hulk being like, I wanted to. Scarlet Witch was the one that caused me that trouble that one time. Let's put her down and see how she likes it.
Interesting. That's a good one.
But I like the fact that we know how she can hold up to Thanos, and Thanos is more powerful than the Hulk. So in this case, the zombie virus does have to downgrade them a little bit because she was being knocked down by the Hulk.
Yeah.
And we know that at this point in time, she doesn't have the full Scarlet Witch ability. She is strictly just, acting as her own. Right. And she has that power. She could do crazy stuff, but she's not like, I can obliterate you just by waving your hand. And I actually thought some of that was going to happen. Like when she launches Bucky.
That was crazy.
Yeah, and that upsets me. What happened with Bucky?
I know. They never go back to him.
Yeah. So
I didn't notice him anyway.
So Bucky's the only one left then.
I was like, what's that about? So Zombie Hope grabs onto the plane, but they're able to escape.
Yep.
And as they celebrate on the plane, zombie Thanos with an Infinity Gauntlet minus the Mind Stone stands. I mean, snap for what? Zombies are already done, right?
Who knows? Maybe he just wants to end existence in general, or just reboot everything where there's no zombie thing. Who knows? But so, okay, one question. So when they take off and after Hope lets go, you see a zombie hit the wing, go, or you see a body hit the wing and then take off. Do we know what that is? Who that is?
No.
I mean, I wasn't gonna say it's Bucky because Bucky was wearing black, and I could have sworn that person was wearing white.
Oh,
but
no.
I don't know why they would have had that one person there near towards the end. But yeah, you're right. I like it. Like they have a nice little speech, and you're like, oh yeah, and then Paul Rudd's like, oh, I'm an Avenger. Well, kind of, sort of Avenger.
Kind of, sort of.
Oh, dude. Oh, and the cape around him flying around, and he jumps out. Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot to say. He jumps out and goes, was it Spectro Patronum or whatever. He did like a Harry Potter line coming out of the thing, and I'm like, oh my god, like dude,
he's good. He's brilliant.
He's just unloading. But yeah, you see Wakanda. Wakanda's got the shield up. There's zombies beating on the shield, but then there's a zombie Thanos inside the shield. And I had to go back and pause that and make sure that I was actually looking at it. I mean, it makes sense. He wasn't, but the only reason why they went to Wakanda in Infinity War was because Vision was there and they're tracking the Mind Stone. But if Vision's not there, he has no reason to be there yet.
Only thing was that one passing line where they were like, Wakanda shields are keeping it out. Maybe he just wanted to get there for that, but he's already won. So
yeah.
And his other arms, like you can see through to the bone. I was like,
well, and that's the other thing. I don't know how did that happen. He has the Infinity Gauntlet minus the Mind Stone. First things first, he has the Power Stone. He can just blast everyone away. Secondly, he has the reality stone. He can just wipe everyone off, turn them into like, I don't know, gravel or something like that.
Anything.
He has the Time Stone. Oh, I got bit. Rewind that sucker back.
It don't make any sense, but he's going to snap if he gets the Mind Stone. So what? I was just like, there's so many problems with this episode. I'm sorry.
I think they just did this because of the fact that since the Marvel Zombies comic book line, like it kicked off and was so like, good and everyone liked it. They just they're throwing a bone to everybody, being like, look, here you go. You wanted to see it outside the comic books. Here you go.
Right.
But yeah, there are just some things there they didn't think through.
Do you want to go first or you want me to go first on rating?
You know what? You go first because I actually haven't decided.
Oh, I've decided. I did not like this episode. There was a lot of fun moments and stuff, but it's really another, I don't know. It's not like a continuity issue or something. It's just doesn't. It's almost like a slap in the face as a fan to me, where they are like, oh, they could still do this. I get they're just pulling from the comics, but I don't know. Just some of it just was so silly and over the top that I was just like, oh my gosh, no, this is not what I meant by make things interesting. This is not it. You're not hitting the marks so far. I'm giving this a 6 out of 10.
That's funny. I was actually thinking 6 as well. But I have this feeling that this is leading to something else.
It is.
Like it's because okay, so far we have targeted the Ant-Man crew, and we have targeted the Strange crew. I mean, yeah, we've had a couple other things, but really those two are been the ones that they've been in multiple episodes now where like, I guess Strange wasn't too key of a figure, but like, I mean, Ant-Man and the Wasp and all that. I don't know what they're doing here. They're leading us. They're giving us breadcrumbs, and us as speculators are trying to put it together, and it still doesn't make any sense. So, what episode was this? This was 4, right?
5.
This was 5. All right. Yep. So, hopefully they'll make a little more sense out of the next 4.
So, what are you giving it?
6.
Oh, you did give a 6. Okay, I didn't want to make sure it was legitimately the final answer. We had one piece of feedback this week from Elizabeth. You want to hear it?
Yes.
Hi, Hank and John. Another depressing episode, and the Avengers have been wiped out again. Why was Doctor Strange's cape flying by itself? Can we stop right there?
Yep.
Do you remember what the cloak's name is?
Let's see what a quick Google says.
The cloak of
Strange.
This is where John fills in the blank. It is the cloak of.
I don't want to buy it. Oh my gosh.
You might want to buy it. You might want to own this one.
I mean,
I can't think of the name offhand.
It definitely has a name. Oh, okay. Well, there's an Etsy.
This is
Cloak of Levitation. There we go. Marvel Universe. Okay.
There we go.
It's the
incoming answer.
I mean, it's got to have more of a name than just the Cloak of Levitation.
It has a better name than that. I'm sure it does.
Owners, users, status, movies, TV series. No. Oh, I guess no. It is called just the Cloak of Levitation because they have the line.
I really thought it was something else. I thought it was. Okay,
well, I mean,
whatever.
They have the line here in quotes where Mordo is talking about it, and he was like, "The Cloak of Levitation, it came to you." And then that's no minor feat. It's a fickle thing.
Okay. I thought it was something a little deeper than that, but that's fine. Cloak of Levitation. Yes, and it does its own thing. It almost has its own personality.
Yeah, well, and quirks, and yeah, it has all of that.
Yeah. Elizabeth goes on to say, why did Vision save Ant-Man's head? Aren't zombies primarily interested in brains? Hey, that's why, because he don't have any. Oh.
Come on, where's your drum set at? There you go.
He don't have any brains. It's empty inside.
Let's see. I didn't understand that. They didn't really explain how they're keeping his head alive either, which would have been an interesting thing for us to know.
Oxygen, blood flow.
What's he doing for food?
Carbohydrates. I mean, there's like nothing that makes any sense. Nope. Just a head.
Yeah.
Severed off
And the other thing too is, okay, well, so, all right. So what did you do? You went and got him because he would have been the second person. I mean, wouldn't you want the first person to have been infected, which would have been Hank, which would have been you, and then they had to track him down. But I mean, I don't know. That
Janet is the patient 0.
Yeah, but Janet got it in the quantum realm. So technically, she is. Think of her as the virus. She's not necessarily number 1. Hank is number 1 because she bit him.
Yeah, true. And then he was all going little bit. I was like, dude, this is creepy. Yeah. All right, let's go on. Where did Thanos's Mind Stone come from? Oh, he did not have it yet. I've got a picture of it. I went back and watched after I read this because I was like, what? Wait a minute. and I made a screen grab of it. If I remember, I got old man brain, but if I remember, I'll put it in the show notes.
No,
But
it's definitely
he
because
holds it up, and it's
missing.
Because isn't the Mind Stone the only stone that's, what is it, polymorphous or whatever, where it can expand or get smaller or whatever?
I mean, I don't know. I would say that would have been Reality Stone, considering it was a liquid. But
anyway, that
it
big
doesn't
hole
matter.
there is missing.
Yeah, I know it
So,
doesn't matter because the entire glove itself was designed to shape and move towards, whatever the gems that go in there. So, but he had all of them here. So the only one he was missing was the Mind Stone.
now, John, keep this as brief as you can, but do the TVA and the Watcher ever have disagreements? I love that question.
I don't think that the Watcher even cares about the TVA, honestly, because it's as you saw in the last week's episode, the Watcher can be more or less considered a god, even though that he's not. He's like a cosmic being where he's got the cosmic powers, so he can do like Galactus stuff where just change whatever. But TVA doesn't have that capabilities. TVA couldn't do anything to him.
Okay. Yeah, they couldn't stop him if they wanted to.
No.
All right. And then lastly, Joss Whedon is persona non grata, but the beginning of Peter's zombie video reminded me of the mutant enemy logo. Do you know what that is, John? Mutant enemy.
Yes, I do. So at the end of all of the who was it? It was J.J. Abrams, I do believe. And whenever they would do his they would close the end. No, not that one. Well, who was it? It was, I think it was Adult Swim. So what happens is the mutant enemy is basically it's just a closing credit for a show. Yeah, yep.
That one. Okay, I see it. And I just pulled it up and I'm like, oh, that's cool. Grrr, that is funny. That's from like the 90s.
No, where'd my Transformer go? Oh,
I can pull it up. And if you're on YouTube, I can pull it up. Let me see if I can pull it up on the screen for our YouTube friends. Add it to the stream first. Let's do it again. Whoops. That was dumb. That's pretty cool, dude.
Yep, that's it.
Grr, arg. That's pretty cool. All right. So Elizabeth says, thanks, Elizabeth. Oh, thank you. That was awesome. That's some good questions, too.
Mm-hmm.
Very good. I forgot all about Mutant Enemy. I've seen that a million times and didn't even think about it, I guess. Anything else quickly, John, before we wrap her on up?
No, I don't have anything. I mean, I just curious. Do they have like an outline of what the next one's supposed to be?
I've been avoiding them.
I mean, I haven't even tried to look at them, so it's not like I'm avoiding them. It's just that I honestly have no clue. In fact, look, Wednesday came and went, and then on yesterday, I was like, "Oh yeah, I got a podcast to do on Friday. I got to go watch that show."
I'm gonna watch this dang tootin' show.
Yeah.
I can watch the previews, but I kind of got ticked off because some acquaintances of mine spoiled some things for Shang-Chi, and I was like, why did you put that in your, like they had certain imagery in their icons for YouTube, and I was kind of made me mad, so I unsubscribed from them out of a fit of rage. So I usually listen to them because I can ask them questions, but I have unsubscribed. So I just don't think you should put spoilers in the artwork.
No. And you know what? Now that I'm thinking about it, if you were to watch a trailer for this, it would have to be like 13 seconds long because you're doing a trailer for a 30-minute episode.
Right.
So if you do that, then you're basically just hitting all the key points.
Yeah. And giving away the entire episode.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else?
Nope.
All right. That was a lot of fun. Don't let our low scores put you down, man. We like this show. It's fun.
I mean, if you've listened to this podcast or any of our other podcasts for as long as you have, you notice that our rating is for everything is usually 7 or above. And so, I mean, if anything, I think that this is one of the most realistic scores that we've been able to give something as of late, because it's not, I don't know. I keep on saying that we needed to raise it and give it like maybe a 1 to 20 or 100.
100. I'm giving you this one a 79 out of 100. You're like, what?
Well, I'm going to give this one a 57.3.
You'd be like, that's pretty specific.
Yeah. So no, it's still good. It's still entertaining to watch. And if everything is keep playing out like I think it's going to, something about this is going to make sense down the road for at least for me. I think it's going to be Ant-Man and Wasp, because I think this is going to have something to do with them.
I hope they bring this around pretty soon, because this is getting weird fast.
Well, I mean, it's what if. I mean, all of them are weird. I mean, I loved all the what ifs. I read them, but the thing is, I only owned 2 that I can honestly remember, and one of them was like, what if the Age of Apocalypse never ended? And I know I've brought this up in many other shows before, and I mean, it's like, I think the Hulk is in. I mean, it is weird. Galactus shows up with the Silver Surfer. Wolverine can kill the Silver Surfer, apparently. You know, everybody fighting Galactus can take Galactus down, but there aren't really that many mutants left. But, you know, again, it's a what if. It's not really supposed to make much sense, because they know that down the road, they don't have to continue the line.
No, that's smart.
Yep.
All right. Well, that was a lot of fun. Thank you so much, John.
Yep. Thank you.
For John, I'm Hank. Until the next time, we're signing off.
TPE Network. There ain't nothing else like it.
Oh man, I didn't have any water here.